The top 5 unsolved American mysteries that will leave you confused. Number 1. The Gurdon Light in Arkansas. Near a railroad in Arkansas flies an incredible unsolved mystery. Floating above and around the tracks, the bright light has been seen in many colors. Orange, blue, pink, green, you name it. Hundreds of people hike for hours in search of the railroad, hoping to see the light for themselves. The locals believe that the light is the ghost of a railroad worker, as the light resembles lanterns that workers used to carry around. This belief is further supported by the case of William McLean and Louis McBride. In 1931, William fired Louis, which led to Louis ending William's life. The reason behind Louis being fired is publicly disputed. Some people say that Louis had messed with part of the train track in such a way that a train may derail, while others say Louis had asked William for more hours and then was denied the request. Louis McBride later claimed that he had ended William's life after he'd been accused of tampering with the train tracks. Louis McBride was sentenced to the electric chair, and the glowing light made its first appearance shortly after. There have been several documentary crews hoping to reveal the mystery of the light. Even scientists have attempted to find the cause, but no theory has ever been proven. Some have attempted to say that it is merely highway lights, but according to historians, the light appeared before the highway lights did. Others have said that the light is made from underground crystals with extreme pressure being placed on them, causing them to charge and then release sparks. Neither theory has ever been confirmed. The light still glows to this day, and if you want to see it, head down to Arkansas on an overcast day and wait until nightfall. Then you may be fortunate enough to catch a glimpse of the Gurdon Light. Number 2. The Black Forest Haunting. Moving is a scary experience, but nobody ever thinks that it's going to be deadly. In the middle of a Colorado forest laid a secluded, fully furnished home. Alex Lee had just purchased it and was moving in with his children and wife. Unbeknownst to them, the previous owner failed to include haunted on the house's amenity list. The family began to experience strange occurrences, repugnant odors, flashing lights, and strange sounds. The family attributed these to random bad luck, but when shadowy figures began lurking in the forest, and the odor turned into a painful chemical burn that would tug at their throats, noses, and eyes, the family decided to take some action. They installed motion detectors, thinking that they were the victims of some annoying pranks from teens. But the motion detectors began to alert them even when seemingly nothing was there. The system had detected 62 break-ins, and the authorities had traveled to the home over 40 times, never finding any evidence of criminal activity. Steve Lee decided to install more cameras into the home, allowing him to see the beings. He caught random flashes of light, glowing orbs, and disconfigured creatures with faces. The family had once come home to all of their lights flashing, the sounds of footsteps on their roof, and orchestral music with rattling chains coming from the woods. Finally, the family realized that they needed to find someone with expertise in the paranormal, so they called the hit supernatural sighting show Sightings. The crew arrived and were greeted by the ghosts with the same amount of kindness the family had been, 0. The crew's cameras were knocked off of tripods, something attempted to possess a producer, and the medium declared that there were at least 20 spirits in the house. A shaman theorized that the house was built on top of a portal between 2 realms, living and dead, making it a hotspot for demonic entities to prowl. Though the spirits passing through weren't all necessarily harming the family or haunting them, they were passing through, which explains the multitude of disturbances. Others theorized that nothing supernatural was occurring at the home. Instead, they believed that it was the location of top secret government experiments. Steve Lee even claims to have seen uniformed and armored men lurking around the property. Number 3. The mystery ships of the Great Lakes. Everybody knows about the Bermuda Triangle swallowing ships and planes, but the mystery ships of the Great Lakes is a less known and equally perplexing mystery. Dating all the way back to the 1700s, thousands of ships are assumed to have disappeared or met their demise while traveling across the lakes. To many minds, the ground amount of sinkings is a result of the dangerous weather conditions that the lake provides, and there is no further mystery behind it. But the disappearances are where curious minds begin to wonder that it may not have been so simple. Since the 1700s, boats have traversed the waters of the Great Lakes. They were excellent sources of freshwater, fish, and natural resources. The lakes had powerful winds, which propelled the boats forward, providing sailors with a fast way to arrive at their destination. And since the 1800s, ships have been sinking and disappearing. without a trace. In 1881, the ship of Thomas Hume disappeared. In 1921, the Rosabelle was found floating upside down, empty of all passengers. It looked as though the Rosabelle had collided with another ship, but no other ship was ever recovered, and the cause of the wreckage was never found. Lake Michigan has a space known as the Michigan Triangle, and, like the Bermuda Triangle, it is known as a hotspot for sinking planes and ships. In the 1940s, over 120 planes crashed and sank into Lake Michigan. About 40 of them were recovered. In 1950, a commercial flight flying over Lake Michigan, carrying over 50 people, had a small bout of turbulence before completely disappearing. Over 70 years later, the flight has still not been found. Number 4. The Lost Lemon Mine. One of the most interesting mysteries of the Canadian Rockies is the Lost Lemon Mine. There are many different versions of the story, ranging from insanity, curses, and killing, to outlaws, massacres, and robberies. No matter the differences of the story's specifics, all tales share an agreement on the most crucial piece of information. Somewhere in the Canadian Rockies is a lost gold mine. Many people have scoured the Rockies in search for the elusive mine that promises bouts of fortune and riches, but almost all of their expeditions have ended in horrific tragedies. The first expedition in the search of the mine took place in spring of 1870 with two men, known as Lemon and Blackjack. The two men eventually came across a face of the mountains that was covered in solid gold. The men began to argue over whether they should take the gold now or return in a warmer season for it. Blackjack grew tired of the disagreement and fell asleep, but Lemon stayed awake, tossing and turning with anger. In a rage of fury, Lemon took his partner's life with an axe and began to hear noises coming from the woods. Lemon grew fearful that his partner was haunting him, and so he left the mountains in an attempt to escape the torment. Lemon searched for the mine for years, but the further into the mountains he went, the more voices and torment he endured, which always caused him to turn around and leave. Many people heard about the mine that Lemon and Blackjack found, yet every expedition to locate it came back empty-handed or insane. The Lost Lemon Mine remains unlocated to this day. Some question if the mine ever even existed, or if Lemon had simply gone insane and imagined it. Either way, if you find yourself longing to climb some mountains, consider heading over to the Rockies. Who knows, you may even find some gold. Number 5. The Black Flash of Provincetown. In 1939, a group of children returned home, terrified, claiming to have seen a creature leaping after them from the sand dunes. The parents took this as a case of overactive imaginations, but little did they know, the creature the children saw would begin to strike fear into the heart of their small town. Reports of this creature began pouring in, people claiming to see it standing and watching them. It chased after them, laughing as people screamed, fearing for their lives. The creature was given many names: the Devil of the Dunes, the Provincetown Phantom, but the name that stuck was the Black Flash, as it highlighted how impossibly fast the creature was capable of moving. The Black Flash hasn't caused any physical damage to the citizens of the town. The creature's only goal seemed to be terrifying the residents. People theorized as to what the Black Flash could be: a pranking student, a reincarnation of a similar monster, or just a collective town joke that they all agreed on. The police claimed that they had located the perpetrators behind the Black Flash, but decided to keep the identity a secret. The creature did indeed disappear, showing that there may have been some truth to the police catching the perpetrators, but many questions still lingered in the residents' minds. How could the creature move so fast? And why was the police so against sharing the perpetrator? I suppose the police never claimed the perpetrator to be human. What do you think the truth behind the Black Flash is?